Alright, so welcome back. In this video we're gonna continue building the functions of our game. But for now, let's see what we have from this roll the dice. So whenever I press on roll, we're gonna see that it is changing. We can also see that we do have right here the actual number of these two. Now if I press on it again, we can actually see in the command right here that we got a 1 in the roll dice function. So this is why we set everything into 0. Now what we're gonna do is to create the function for the hold button, because even if I reach 23 and I wanna hold, nothing will happen. I just keep rolling until I get to 0, and then the position changes from whatever player is playing to the other one. Now, using the function of hold, we can simply change, or the user can simply choose that they no longer need to roll. They just want to hold for now. And I'm gonna name it hold score. And in this function, the first thing I'm gonna do is to simply have the global current player. And we're gonna start by simply changing the player score into whatever we have in it plus the current score of the player. So player score will be of the current player, which is equal to whatever we have in the current or the player score plus the player's current score at the current player. So this means that if player 1 is playing, for example, and they want to hold, what we are going to do is to simply add to the player score, which is this one, add current player. So this is it. We're going to add to it whatever we have in it plus the current score right here into it. And now what we're going to do is to simply set the player's current score into 0. Alright, so that's it basically. This is what we should do. Now, even if we run this, we're not gonna get anything because we didn't actually change the labels that we have in our screen. So we need to also change these. Remember that these are the lists that we have right here. They are here to help us in the functions, in the addition, because the actual labels are of type string and we can't really do much with them. So this is why we just create this. Now what we're gonna do is to simply check whatever user is playing. So if player or the current player is equal to 0, this means that this is player 1. We're gonna simply set the player 1 current score into 0 because we no longer need it. And what we are going to do is to simply also set the score 1, which is the global score right here, into. So set text into, and we're gonna set it to whatever we have at the player's score, whatever we added here. So it will be of type str player's score at current player. And after that, after holding, we're gonna simply change the player of from 0 to 1. Now if this is not the case, this means that this is player 2 playing. So we're gonna set text of player 2 into 0, and the score of player 2 will be whatever we have in the player's score and of the current player that's playing. And after that, we need to change the player from 1 into 0. Now make sure that you change the player at the last line of the if statement, because otherwise we're gonna use it here and we're gonna get confused, because this is score 1, and if you change it to current player 2, we're gonna get the score of player 2 and add to it. So make sure that this is the last line of your statements. Alright, so that's it basically for the hold one. Now if we go ahead and run it, so let me just add it really quick right here. After roll dice, hold dot clicked dot connect, and we're gonna have hold score. Now let's close this, run, And we're gonna see that whenever I press on hold, we're gonna just take everything from here and place it here. Now if I roll again, we can see that this is player 2, however we got a 1 here, so this is why player 2 has never played. But if I press on hold and then one more time, we can see that this is player 2 playing now, and hold, and we didn't get, alright, so we got an error because the score to.set text into player's score, and this is because we didn't actually add a string here. So now we're good to go. Run again, and as we can see, we have 10 and 12, so on and so forth. So that's it basically. We do have now our main functions, that is the roll and hold the dice. Now what we're gonna do is to actually add a function for this new game right here. So let me just add it here. Now this function will be the main function where we're gonna create the new game. So let's think about it for a second. A new game would be to set everything into 0. So create new game, and this one will be to simply use the current player and player's current score and player's score. And we're going to use all of them, set them into 0. So current player would be equal to 0. The player's current score would be also equal to 0. And player's score equal to 0 too. Now notice that even if we run this, even if we set everything into 0, if I roll the dice and hold, if I click on new game, nothing will happen. And this is because we didn't actually change the label that we have right here. So to do that, we're gonna simply use it here. So player 1 current score, we're gonna set text into 0, then do the same thing, player 2 current score and 0. After that, we're gonna also set the score 1 to 0, and finally score 2 would be also 0. Alright, so I think we're good to go now. If I run this again and just roll one time, hold, and let's roll here, hold, and as we can see we do have 6, 17, 8. If I press a new game, alright, so nothing will happen because we didn't really add this function right here. So let me add it really quick. New game.clicked and connect to create new game. Sorry about that. Now run, roll, hold, and if I press a new game, they will be reset into zeros. So that's it basically for the new game, roll and hold. Now we do also have another function, and this is to check the winner. So let me just go ahead and write it real quick right here. So check winner, and we're gonna check the winner each time the user presses on hold. So we're gonna take the current player as global, and we're gonna check if the player's score at current player is greater than or equal to 100. If this is the case, this means that the player has already won, and we're gonna simply just check which player has already won. So if this is player 1, we're gonna set the text of player 1 into winner and set the text into winner 2. Now let's go ahead and run this. I'm sorry, here for text 2 player 2, we're gonna check if this is player 1 and this is player 2. Now let's go ahead and run this, and we're gonna find some problems that we need to debug. Alright, so at first we need to add the check winner to the hold function. As we said, we need to check the winner each time the user holds. So if it exceeds 100, then we're gonna simply change the winner. Alright, so let me just run this again. And as we can see, if we have 17, we're gonna get it here. Then we're gonna roll again, player 2, player 1, and so on and so forth until reaching the actual number of 100. Now, as we can see, we do have here. Alright, so 82 plus 41 is actually greater than 100. However, if I press and hold, nothing will happen. We do have 123 here. However, player 2 is actually not the winner yet. And if I continue, and I also have here 105, so if I press hold again and press it again, we're gonna see that we do have winner right here. Now this is because we're checking the winner according to the actual score right here. We're not actually adding the current score that we have here. Remember that we did have 81 plus something in the 40s, so we need to add 81 plus 40 and then check if it exceeds 100. So let me just go ahead and do it here. So it is player score at current player plus we're gonna get player's current score at also current player. If the total of these exceeds 100, this means that we are on the right track and this is the actual winner. Now let me just run it again and we're gonna check it really quick this time. So we have 29 and 17 and I'm gonna have, alright, so we're gonna have here 83 and we also have 25, so the total between them absolutely is greater than 100. So now if I press and hold, we're gonna see 108 and this is the winner. Now the second bug that we have is that we finished this game and we wanna create a new one. So if I press on this new game, we're gonna set everything to 0. However, we can notice that player 2 is actually simply labeled as winner. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that in the create new game here. So we're gonna set player 1 dot set text into player 1, player 2 dot set text into player 2. Alright, so that's it basically. Now if we go ahead and run this again, and if we continue building this, so I'm gonna just decrease it for a bit here into 25 just for the sake of this example. So now whoever reaches 25 is the actual winner. So 19, 12 plus 17 hold, this is the winner. Now if I create a new game, everything will be set into zeros and including the player 1 and player 2 labels. So that's it basically for this dice game. We have created the front end and back end to it, and I think it is a great way to use everything that we have learned so far from Q labels, Q push buttons, and just use functions inside our PyQt5 applications and use the click, connect, use CSS right here and get into the PyQt5 details from Pixmap into set the alignment, so on and so forth. So that's it basically for this project. See you in the next one.